All right, I'd like to call to order the low-speed vehicle workshop. Today's Tuesday, July 29, 2025. The time is now 6 o'clock p.m. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent meditation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item is roll call.
Mayor Scott Nickel.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Frank Burton.
Here.
Councilmember Adam Dyer.
Here.
Councilmember David Nutt.
Here.
Councilmember Susan Romey.
Here.
Okay, skip on to additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda, if any. Does anyone in council have any changes or additions? Hearing none, we'll move on to low-speed vehicles discussion. This is to consider holding a workshop. We're not really considering holding a workshop. We are holding a workshop for discussion of the city's perspective on low-speed vehicles and to allow citizen input. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. City Council residents gathered here in home. This was requested by Councilmember Dyer. City Attorney Bone is here. As outlined in the agenda, this was discussed in the 2017 to 2021 era. I know that's a long time, and the majority of council has changed. Excerpts of state statutes governing low-speed vehicles are attached, and Mr. Bone was here during that period, so if there's any questions, I'll defer to our legal counsel.
Okay. Councilmember Dyer, you called for this, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. When I originally started running, this was something that a lot of the residents approached me about, and I also inquired about it as well because I wanted a low-speed vehicle as well. And at the time, the city didn't have anything in place. There was a program to the city north of us, and we ended up getting ours inspected through them, and then they changed their rules to only issue that to city residents. So therefore, I already had a low-speed vehicle. I had to get it inspected at the state level. So went through that process, got it all the safety requirements, and then at the time it was you had to trailer your low-speed vehicle to Titusville, get it inspected. If it met the criteria, they would issue you a plate and a VIN number, and therefore it was then a low-speed vehicle in the eyes of the state. Well, that all goes up to interpretation, whether whoever's inspecting it likes the windshield or the tire tread. So if you were turned away, you'd have to trailer it back home, make the appropriate fixes, and then go through that whole process again. To my understanding, they don't no longer do it in Titusville. You have to get it trailered over to Oviedo now, which is incredibly difficult, and majority of people aren't going to go through that hassle. And once I did get it inspected and certified as a low-speed vehicle, because it was considered a vehicle through the eyes of the state, but it lacked the appropriate safety features, which i.e. anti-lock brakes and airbags, the insurance on my low-speed vehicle was more than my minivan, which drives my 4 children around, which was absolutely crazy to me. And then, you dive further into it, and you notice that there's been a steady uptick in low-speed vehicles in the city, traversing to and from, because we live in paradise, and everybody likes to be outside. And once you're driving in low-speed vehicles, it's more personable. You stop, you talk to your neighbors, and it just has an added feel to the community. And there's only getting more of them. So I feel like that we need to kind of address the situation, come up with, I would like to see a program personally that kind of mirrors the cities of Satellite and potentially have some reciprocity so we can traverse to and from for our neighbors up north, and then vice versa. We can go to their city and they can come down to ours. Now, I believe, obviously not talking to their council, but I think most of the people will be on board with it because the residents, like you said, go to and from, because I live right there on the north side of Indian Harbor. So to me, it would make a lot of sense. Now, currently, to my understanding, and Chief Butler, maybe you can come up and kind of explain to everybody here what our current enforcement is on low-speed vehicles.
Yes, sir. So basically what we do right now is the city does not have an ordinance that outlines golf carts or low-speed vehicles. So then we fall to what the state law is. And what the state law under 316.2122, which outlines the operation of low-speed vehicles. So that's the rule we use. A low-speed vehicle is a vehicle, has to be registered through the state of Florida. It's got to have all the safety gear. It's got to have insurance, a licensed driver, and it can operate on a road that's 35 miles an hour or less. Now, I know that when we looked at this in the past, we've actually tried to contact the state to get them to come here to our city to see if we can do an event here at City Hall for them to register their vehicle. We try to take the initiative to see if they'll come to us, that kind of do a community event. That didn't go well. No, they said no. So that's what we're doing right now. So we're just using whatever the law says, the current law in the state of Florida. That's what we're using, since we don't have our own ordinance.
And I think, you know, the intent of the workshop tonight is not to come up with a finished product or an actual ordinance tonight, but at least, you know, identify two things. One, is there an issue? Is there something needs to be addressed with low-speed vehicles? In your opinion, do you feel like it's increasingly, steadily getting more and more?
Yes, well, we do have, City of Satellite they have their own ordinance that allows golf carts or low-speed vehicles. And that is something that has been just increasing. We get a lot of questions, we get a lot of concerns. We try to, instead of writing a whole bunch of citations, if we do pull someone over, we try to educate them on what our current law is. There's a lot of confusion about what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. We try to educate them the best that we can. We put things on social media, but there is, it seems like there are going to be a lot more of those golf cart, low-speed vehicle type vehicles operating.
And, you know, I would like to personally applaud you and your officers because, you know, I think you guys do a phenomenal job with the education on the specifics of the ordinances and the laws and stuff. So, you know, I'd like to give you your props there. And we've had previous talks in the past about, you know, about direction, like how to move forward, how to address this situation moving forward. So hopefully that's the second intent of the workshop, is to give the police department some direction on how to move forward with this program. I don't have any questions. Does anybody else have any questions for the police chief?
Satellite Beach's ordinance that they have from the state laws on low-speed vehicles.
So I have reviewed Satellite's ordinance, and it pretty much mirrors what the state law requires, with the except of it being registered through the state of Florida. They just register it through the city. Now, I'll let Carl speak on that. The only requirement, safety requirement, they don't require that the state requires is a windshield wiper, because that's an aftermarket part on some. If you're trying to change your golf cart to a low-speed vehicle, it's an expensive part that isn't really needed.
And then I think all their requirements make sense, you know, which would be, you know, liability insurance, PIP
Yes.
insurance, safety belts, you know, the
Licensed
safety
driver.
triangle, you know, licensed driver, reflectors, you know. It's very similar to the state low-speed vehicle ordinance. to me, it would be a lot easier for the residents and also the police officers if we developed a program inside the city where we have an area, actually, it's on the backside of this building, it's the old, I believe it's the old fire station roll-up door, where we could, once a week or appointment only, have the residents bring their low-speed vehicle up, it could be inspected on site, and then it could be processed, and there would be a registration fee, an annual renewal fee to handle the administrative side and also the inspection and enforcement. But that way, we would have something a little, more structured, something that would be safer, because currently, right now, a lot of people aren't getting those safety requirements because it's just too difficult. So if we develop a program in the city that's more accessible and useful, it would be safer, and we could police it in the city as well.
So as of now, if it has a tag, it's legal. If it doesn't, it's illegal, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the simple way to put it, yes.
So I believe the city of Satellite Beach has had their ordinance approximately since 2018, I believe.
Yes.
And so far, it's been pretty successful. I
talked to Chief,
hear,
I talked to Chief Pearson today, just to kind of get an update, because I knew we were going to have a workshop today, and asked if they had any significant issues. I think they've had 2 crashes or 2 significant issues. One was a DUI and one was a traffic crash. But other than that, they've had no major issues. No, just your typical, people hot dogging on golf carts, but you're going to have that in cars, so, right, just.
yeah, I've heard nothing but, positive things from the residents, and they do, because it's acceptable, it's more accepted and encouraged. There's multiple events, you have the Halloween parade and the golf cart parade and Christmas, which, I've partaken in. It's a pretty good time. And I think we could adopt a similar ordinance with the goal of reciprocity. And maybe, John, do you think the city of Satellite Beach, have you talked to them potentially about, as long as the requirements are similar, they'd be familiar? I know you can't speak on behalf of the city, but as far as the reciprocity aspect.
I believe there's interest. Because this council hasn't made a formal consensus to move forward, it's just been a staff-to-staff discussion, but I believe there is interest up there. Devil's always going to be in the details.
Okay,
I talked to Chief Pearson today. There's interest.
okay,
It just makes it simple for our police officers and their police officers, and so
I know there's lots of
Yes.
interest in the community. I hear about all the time, and,
if we created something, then they would very much like to
awesome.
share that.
And I know that they have, if you go to their website, they have approved crossings on A1A and South Patrick. So, that would, at certain locations, I'm sure, like I said, tonight, the intent is not to, develop a full program, but just identify the need and then a direction. So, a lot of the things I think that I've heard in the past, we could address moving forward and develop a pretty good program.
Confident we can come up with something if that's the direction you want us to go with.
Adam, you're familiar enough with Satellite Beach. So when it comes to when they do their inspections of their LSVs there, now, you just mentioned, educate me on this completely. So are they still having to go to Oviedo or Orlando
No.
to get a tag? So it could all be done locally?
Yes, everything
And they
is,
can have a registered tag, be completely legal, and no?
so
You
when
get a
I,
tag, you get a-
so
you get a
there's,
decal,
Get a
right?
decal.
Yeah, you don't
so
get a
yeah,
state
you
tag.
don't get a VIN number and a state license plate. You get a decal that it is inspected and it has the appropriate insurance, the appropriate safety features. And when I did it, it was, I think, almost 5 years ago, and you go to the police station, police officer inspects the vehicle, inspects the integrity of the work, and then they essentially say, yes, this meets the criteria, and they give you that decal, and they say that these are the approved roads that you are allowed to operate this city low-speed vehicle in. These are the ones you cannot. Do you understand? You sign the waiver, and then they give you your decal, and then you're good to go for a year. And then each year you have to, to reapply.
Carl, can you,
Yeah, if I might, the registration term that Satellite uses is not the same as a state vehicle registration that you would
That's-
get through the state of Florida.
so that I understand now.
Yeah,
So
so-
my concern is liability. So what happens if we are responsible for doing the inspection of these LSVs, and then an accident happens, and it doesn't meet the same requirements as the state? Are we liable? Is somebody going to come back on us for that specifically? I hate putting that out there.
No,
but-
no, and it's a valid question. You know, do I think we're liable? No, we have immunity. But does that prevent someone from filing a suit against us? Absolutely not.
Correct.
Okay. Now, as far as liability concerns, the Satellite Beach's ordinance pretty much mirrors, like the chief said, the safety equipment requirements of the state law.
Right.
Okay? The only thing that's missing in that is, under state law, a low-speed vehicle must be registered and insured in accordance with Section 320.02 of the Florida statutes, and that's the state registration requirement. And simultaneously with the registration, you get a tag. So,
So is the
That's-
insurance requirements going to be the same?
well, that's a good question, and somebody raised the question earlier in my discussions. Can you get insurance on an unregistered and untagged LSV? I don't know. I don't know that
I
answer.
actually spoke to Chief Pearson about that specific issue today, and people are getting insurance,
good.
and they're able to show it. It can be difficult. You got to know what you're asking for. You got to kind of make sure that the insurance carrier that you're dealing with knows what you're asking for. But they are getting insurance when they register the vehicle, and they're showing in a proper insurance.
So I've also reached out to a couple insurance salesmen as well, and what they told me is, yes, just what Chief said. It is a little more difficult because of I call them the bigs, the bigger insurance companies. They tend to shy away from those policies, but the smaller insurance companies will still issue you the same coverage, and it's actually at a cheaper rate than the bigs for the actual low-speed vehicle, but it's still the same, bodily injury, PIP and liability coverage. So yes, you can get it.
Chief, is there anything on this list that you might see that is missing that we should
The only thing
incorporate
that
if we did
stands out is
something
the
like
windshield
this?
wiper. If we want to add a windshield wiper, that's the only thing that's not in the statute that's not there. But that was done intentionally by them, so we could add it or not add it.
So, I'm sorry, you done, Chief?
Yes, sir.
So I guess the question I have is, within the state statute, and I understand a lot of people are probably here to support some form of reciprocity and come up with an ordinance that can work. But we also have to make sure that, from a legal standpoint, that we are not getting cross with the state and the state statute requirements. And if I understood correctly, the state statute basically says that you have to register a low-speed vehicle in accordance with the section of the statutes, which includes a tag. Are we even permitted by the state to adopt an ordinance and to implement our own registration process? I mean, I know Satellite Beach has an ordinance. I get it, but I want to make sure that we're clean on this and that we don't have any issues down the road on this.
Maybe Carl can,
And so, I guess my second part of that is, can we implement our own regulations, and can we implement our own registration process? Kind of very related items. And if I couldn't tell for sure by looking at the statute over and over and over again, and if we're uncertain about it, is there a way we can get an interpretation from the state that tells us one way or the other, can we do this?
Well, I can answer the latter question easier than I can answer the other ones. We could try and see if the Attorney General would pipe in on our ability to regulate LSVs. It'll obviously be a lot more eloquently phrased than that, but, you know, we could. I think the overriding question is, can we allow the operation of an LSV on city streets without the state registration requirement? You know, there's nothing in the statute that says we can't. Okay? But unlike the golf cart statute, which has specific allowances that a city
what I was
can
thinking.
implement on safety stuff, it specifically says we can do it. There's no similar language here in the LSV statute, so there's some distinction there.
So you were talking about city streets. What happens when they go on A1A or South Patrick?
That's a good question
The
too,
golf-
because
The golf cart portion of it, that's, if you're thinking going in that direction, potentially, that might have its own issues with it because it caps the maximum speed.
But
For the-
as far as an LSV is concerned on, you know,
A1A.
A1A, okay, so we found out that the city of Satellite Beach tried to get an exemption, and I think they got one exemption and others failed, if I'm not mistaken, and it was.
Now, you're talking about crossing, I think he's talking about traversing
Oh,
north and south,
traversing,
right?
that's gotta be,
So-
the state and the feds and the state will have to probably
So,
approve
yes,
that versus
in
crossing.
the city's program would say, you know, you're allowed to go cross here, but not north and south. But currently, the low-speed vehicle, the state-approved low-speed vehicle I can drive on A1A. Do I choose to? No, personally, I
But the
don't.
satellite vehicle, the satellites cannot drive on A1A.
Yeah, they cannot go
Correct,
north-south on
Because they're
A1A.
not
They can
registered.
just cross at two approved
Legally
locations.
registered
And
with
only
the state.
two locations,
Yes,
right?
they have two approved,
Okay, so I
city-approved
was
locations.
so.
There's two on A1A and one on South Patrick that the city has approved and permitted crossing.
I would like to see us come up with something, but I'm really concerned about the liability of something, because it's one thing, if something happens and a 16-year-old, you know, son or daughter out there and has an accident that could be detrimental, and we're on an ordinance of our own, but yet we should have been complying with state standards with that vehicle, never should have been there.
But David, how is Vieira or Barefoot Bay or Satellite Beach?
Because we're not going
Doing
to take
it.
the liability of it. I don't want us to be put in that liability.
If I might, try and address that. All right, so from a liability perspective, the fact that a person does not have a state-registered vehicle doesn't create liability on it, because the accident's going to happen regardless.
But it doesn't, as far as liability coming back on us, it's just another avenue, because when an attorney, you're familiar with it.
Sure.
Yeah, they go after everything.
And that's what I said,
And
anybody
they
can
go
sue
after
anyone.
everyone. I don't want them coming after us,
Well-
because we did something different.
We can't prevent them from coming after us. First of all, we will have sovereign immunity. Secondly, I believe coming after us would be meritless, because we did nothing to cause the accident.
Correct.
That's the causation.
I feel comfortable with that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And that's a very valid question. I have the same sentiment. I wouldn't want to adopt anything that would put the city at risk. You know, and currently, you know, speaking of the kind of risk in, you know, they are traversing at a high rate from city to city currently. So as far as the current stance is the education, you know, and we've been educating the residents, but are we kind of accepting some level of risk with us in not enforcing the law with the current interpretation from satellite that are coming into our city right now currently?
Well,
Correct.
I don't know, again, Adam, we did talk about this a little bit, you and I. There's a certain amount of discretion on the part of a law enforcement officer to issue citations, okay? To say that there's going to be a directive to ignore it. I don't like that, okay? But there could
I
be
would agree.
understanding.
I
Yeah.
think that's
And,
the least appealing option.
you know, I can't prevent what the sheriff is going to do or FHP. They could still issue citations if they want to. Is it likely? Probably not, because they got better things to do, but it could happen. And if they're going to be faced with the driver saying, well, Indian Harbor Beach and Satellite Beach let me do this, with all due respect, they're not, the sheriff and FHP is not bound by what we do with traffic laws that are pretty much implemented by the state. So that could happen. And then we also, if an officer wants to give a ticket for a non-registered, state-registered vehicle, they can.
Now you're referring to the higher level authorities as far as state FHP or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It could be county. And
and us.
They could,
I mean, they could be us.
Be one of your officers.
He's not going to punish one of his officers for writing a ticket that he could legally do. So, you know, there's always that element there.
So Chief, if we actually have an ordinance that mimics exactly what Satellite Beach is doing, does that also mean that you're going to increase enforcement? Because right
Yes.
now, the way I see it, it's running rampant. We got kids that are 11 and 12-year-olds out here running around on golf carts that aren't registered or whatever it may be. So I would like to see an uptake on the enforcement of this if we're going to implement something.
yes.
So I feel like
I mean, it's a simple answer is, right now, I know there's a lot of confusion going on, and I know
Yeah.
that the community thinks that, was hoping that there's a project or something that comes out of this. So we've been just trying to be reasonable and
Correct.
use discretion, and
But I
once we
think-
set
I
one
wanna make
way or
sure-
the other, enforcement is gonna,
Some of these blatant violations, such as an adult parent allowing a child that's under the age of 16 driving one of these LSVs, their accountability needs to be there. I'm tired of the warnings that we've seen, which are right here, which you showed me, which is plenty of warnings and not enough citations to say the parents more just as responsible for these children out there, and they shouldn't be driving.
And-
So
and
I want accountability is what I want.
And I feel like that's the reason why we had this workshop tonight, is actually, give the police department some clear direction, to either A, the city comes up with our own policy that we clearly enforce in this category, or B, we don't adopt whatever the council decides, we don't adopt our own city ordinance, and we start enforcing the current laws, and then also to our neighboring residents as well. Or the third option would be continue, I believe, not my words, you said ignore or not enforce,
Yeah.
which I think that's not appropriate. So it's either,
you can see, we're doing traffic stops, we're doing that. I mean, we're just
Mm-hmm.
using discretion and giving warnings and trying to educate, but at some point, that's gonna end, and they're gonna start getting,
Right.
correct.
Adam, I'm in agreement with you as far as if we're going to do it, let's do something that's going to benefit us by having something with this type of an inspection that you're referring to. So we know that they have that decal from Indian Harbor Beach, that they've met the requirements. So I think that's a wise idea.
Can I interrupt? What about that request that came about us possibly finding out from the state if we can actually do this?
Yeah,
Legal opinion from the Attorney General.
look, to me, there's no
It's
reason
prudent.
why, that can be one of the components that we pursue as part of the overall plan, if you will.
the final product.
No reason why, we have folks that are here to speak tonight too, and we want to get their input, and of course, whatever remaining council, but there's no reason why we can't pursue starting into looking at potential language for an ordinance that would be closely mirror satellite beaches, perhaps, and at the same time, pursue getting an opinion from the state as to whether we can ultimately do anything. I don't want to, my point there is, we can run them concurrently. I don't want to drag this out for another
I would
year or
agree.
two, whatever. I think we need to figure it out once and for all. And I think a big part of that is, that component is gonna be to find out from the state if we can do this.
Yeah, and that was my
Because
point.
the statute's just not clear enough.
No, my point was, do we do a comprehensive thing instead of like piecemealing it and wasting more,
Right.
another year?
Yes, sir. But is this going to open up a can of worms for like Viera and other places?
It very well could, and it
Okay.
could open up a can of worms for the city of Satellite as well. It could.
You know, we have an obligation to make sure that it's.
Can I also just add about enforcement that we were talking about? You know, I live amidst a bunch of Airbnb, short-term rentals, and I always see the kids from those short-term rentals using the golf carts. I even went online, you know, they advertise for golf carts, which goes against the statute of having to be a resident and not having for hire vehicles. So that's just another thing that could be enforced.
So,
Do I dare ask this question?
why not?
Well, okay, so we know there's a significant difference between an LSV and a golf cart.
Yes.
Okay? One of them's actually easier to allow than the other. Is that something you want us to explore?
So I think that would also fall into the later of the fine tuning of the final product. You know,
Okay.
what the language that the city would choose to use for the final ordinance, right? Right now, just the direction, address the direction that the city would like to go. Develop our own program, nothing, or, I mean, that'd be my opinion. But.
And that can be obviously dictated by whatever the state comes back with in terms of
True.
our interpretation.
So
It
the
might
only-
shove us into the golf cart realm.
The only difference that I'm familiar with between a golf cart and an LSV is a decal or a registered plate.
Speed.
It's the speed.
That's it?
There's certain equipment requirements. Remember, in a golf cart, we have the right to enhance the equipment requirements under statute. It's not that clear here under the LSV statute.
Correct.
And, you know, you put a golf cart there and an LSV right in front of me, I couldn't tell you the difference.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
You know, as someone who's at the school all the time, people are using low-speed vehicles that aren't registered because it is a huge process if you don't have the original title. So, I mean, I feel like we are almost missing out on revenue. I mean, Satellite Beach, it's $150 the first year and $50 the second year. You know, if we do something similar, people are going to register. We want, you know, an easy way to do it. And right now, I think people are just doing it without registering because it is so complicated.
I wouldn't want this to be a revenue issue as much as I want it to be something to accommodate what the citizens want.
For sure, but it's
Yeah.
still part of it.
And I think
I
the.
think it's
is
going
what
to
it is.
cost.
I think the cost should be pretty much revenue neutral.
Right.
In terms of cover the cost of the personnel, the added time, whatever it takes, the decals, everything. We cover the cost and keep it to that.
I would agree as well. The important thing is the safety aspect, and, you know, you have a higher level of compliance with the city and RAN policy, and that would just cover the administrative costs and the inspection and enforcement and stuff.
Okay. So at this point, we are done up here for now. We have several folks. I'm going to open it up to public comment. I've got a small pile of speaker cards here. If you do wish to speak on this item, make sure you fill out a speaker card, turn it in to the city clerk so that you can be on the list. All right, I'm going to start off with Terry Porter. Please come up, state your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. And just word of warning, I cut it off at 3 minutes, just to be fair to everyone.
Hi, Terry Porter, live at 933 Blue Water Drive in Indian Harbor. I would just like to say, I went online, I bought my low-speed vehicle, I have it tagged, insurance, everything, you know, and I First of all, I want to say if the fee that we have that you're going to register, since I have to pay my tag yearly, will the people with the tags be charged the fee? Because I'm already feed out with my tag. So should I have to
So.
pay for
so
a
the-
sticker?
So, not to interrupt you, can you pause the time real quick, or time? I think we would want to craft this to where, you have your yearly renewal, you continue with that, and there's basically two requirements, either or. It's either you have the city
Okay.
registration and decal, or you have the state tag, and you do it that way.
I believe it supersedes one if it's, the state is more.
Yeah.
So
I don't
you're
think
covered
there's
under
any
the other
problem
one,
with
but I
that.
think we would work on that, yeah.
So,
Just kind of wanted to get that.
okay,
Yes, ma'am.
resume your time now.
And second of all, with Mr. Dwyer here, we're a
Dyer.
beachside community. Since I have gotten mine, I work in Indian Harbor. I work at Space Coast Credit Union. I drive to work every day. That is my daily driving. And I've gone around in the community, and I have met more people because they wave, they stop and talk. How are you? I love your cart, and it's just more of a community. You get out, like you said, outside, meet people, and enjoy your days instead of in a car. And with the gas prices, I could go to Publix. I cut the back way and go through the library and go to Publix and buy my groceries and come home. We go out to eat. And it's a way for the community to get around and live in paradise and enjoy ourselves. So that was another thing. And just kind of separate the golf cart from the low-speed vehicles. That's kind of the first thing you kind of need to separate. Get that, because I had mine registered, it's got the windshield wiper, and I had it turned up to be a low-speed vehicle. So just kind of a little bit of different. And driver's license,
Yes.
children driving them, that's what makes the people who go the correct way, do what they're supposed to do, and enjoy our vehicles. That kind of puts a damper on us because they look bad on us, and we're doing everything right, so, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is David Noble.
Evening, I'm Dave Noble, 1206 Pine Tree, and I have a business at 126 Tomahawk. Just a couple questions because I'm not clear. Are these low-speed vehicles allowed to drive on the sidewalks?
No.
No,
Okay, so they're transversing A1A, or they're given two places to cross A1A, and then where do they go?
so currently, if you have a registered low-speed vehicle now that meets the state requirements, you can drive up and down on A1A and cross it.
And that includes South Patrick.
No. 35-mile-an-hour maximum posted speed limit. So South Patrick, as it stands
Okay.
right now, is 40.
So if I see a golf cart on the sidewalk of South Patrick, which we do, right?
Yep.
That is an illegal thing.
Well, golf carts can be authorized to travel on sidewalks. There's certain criteria that need to be met. We probably don't have it here, but LSVs are never allowed to be on the sidewalk.
right.
Correct, but I think there's a certain width
Yeah,
requirement
there's
as it
certain-
relates to
yeah.
the sidewalks, and there's not any that meet that requirement on South
So-
Patrick Drive. Not here.
As a citizen, I don't have a golf cart. I don't have a low-speed vehicle. I certainly would like one because, just like you just mentioned, easy enough to get around town. Am I allowed to go through the library? Okay. It's, the other thing I have is the age limit is 16,
Licensed driver.
licensed driver. Now, we all know that's not the case. We all know that. And, okay, we got all the electric bikes, we got all the electric scooters. They're crazy. I've been seeing too many kids crazy with their parents or VRBO golf carts. Now, the VRBO golf carts, is that for the police to enforce or our code enforcement? Okay, I won't get into it.
I presume
But-
the police, if the enforcement would be on the roadways, so.
All right. So I would just also like to say that the Satellite Beach and what they're doing, I drive to Doubles every day, so I'm up in Satellite Beach every day, and they seem to have a good handle on it, and I like their parades. But the last thing I've got is, okay, we said the age limit and all, but we're not the only two cities who have this issue. I bet every city in this state has this issue. So there's more than just Satellite. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is Kyle Mallett.
I'm Kyle Mallett, 368 Ocean Spray Ave in Satellite, and I am here to talk about the current registration process. As multiple of you council members have mentioned, it is a process. So I just wanted to briefly kind of go over that to show what sort of process needs to be undertaken currently if you guys were to continue requiring, following state requirements in order to register the vehicle with the DMV. So the regional DMV in Titusville is closed. They are not allowing for golf cart conversions to be, inspections to be completed. So the current process requires you either going in person or mailing a 13-page application, which requires a lot of documentation, receipts for parts that were purchased, bill of sale. You have to list the address of the company that you purchased, the accessories that you attached to the golf cart in order to make it street legal. You have to actually put the company's address on the receipts. If it was already on the cart, then you have to include it on the bill of sale in order to be able to show where all these parts came from and how much you paid for them and so on and so forth, along with pictures of the cart have to be printed out from both sides, the front and the rear. So you have to print out pictures of that, along with all the application pages, along with a builder form. So if somebody made the cart for you, such as something that my company does in Satellite, we have to fill out this form to provide to you both for the cart and for the accessories that were installed. So you either bring or mail in all these documents, which have to be wet signed. There's no digital submission of these forms. You either mail them through the Postal Service or you bring them in person to DeLand. The direction is DeLand, which is even further than Oviedo. It's 94 miles, an hour and a half roughly drive. So you bring it up there or you mail it to them. They review everything. If there's anything missing, you have to submit the additional documentation by mail or in person. And once you have a completed and accepted application, they will mail you back, or you can go back to DeLand and pick up the approved application in a sealed envelope, and then you take it to your local DMV office by appointment only, of course, to be able to get your VIN number for the vehicle and be able to obtain a license plate. That's the current process, which is a very challenging process. So I'm not here to say with, one way or the other, which way you guys should go. I'm just trying to let everyone know what the process is. And if you don't, create your own, ordinance, that's what everyone here would need to do in order to have a, low-speed vehicle legal on the street. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next is Ken Bowman.
Hey, I'm Ken Bowman, 918 Blue Water. I don't need to say much because it's pretty much all been said. I agree with Adam. We have to get rid of the gray areas. There's way too many gray areas. First part of realizing there is a problem is, to fix it. So we have to fix the problems. There's way too many golf carts running around without license plates, and also e-bikes. We have to include e-bikes. If there's some way to include e-bikes on this, I know it's going to be hard, but they're cutting corners. It's getting really dangerous. There's got to be some sort of enforcement. Maybe once we can get enforcement on golf carts, then, things will kind of follow suit with e-bikes. The other thing is our beaches, limited space and parking. We are talking about LSV parking spots that we have there for them now. Let's use them. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Next is Joe Horschel. From coach to coach.
Yeah. My name's Joe Horschel. I live at 509 Bahama Drive in Indian Harbor Beach. I've lived in Indian Harbor Beach for now more than 50 years. Okay? I was born in Melbourne, raised in All Galley. Still call it All Galley. I'm not so concerned about the golf carts. My biggest concern now is what age group, electric bicycles and electric motorcycles, are these kids allowed to be? Because my grandson's friends who are 11 and 12 years old are riding electric bicycles, and you can go either 25 mile an hour on some of them, and some of them will hit 50 or 60 miles an hour. And they're on the sidewalk, and they don't warn you, they don't do anything. My wife has almost been hit 3 or 4 times. She won't even walk on A1A sidewalk in the morning. She'd rather chance her and go down Tropical Trail. Okay? What are the laws?
Types of
I know about the pedaling.
So it just depends on what, is it a type
Well, I've already read all that, but the point being is, followed one the other day, he's doing 35, 40 miles an hour down Tropical Trail, never touched the pedals. So,
Yeah,
and
excuse
then
me,
there's
sir.
kids that run, I've seen them over at the park.
Address us.
Oh, I've seen them
He
over
can
at
hear
the
you.
parks. I've seen them over at the parks doing wheelies on their electric motorcycles, tearing up the kids, the fields that we all participate and pay a lot of money to try to keep up. And I just don't know what the laws are, and we need to enforce what we have. And the other thing we need to do is we need to make it at the state level that is across the country or the entire state for our laws to be the same everywhere. So if you have to have a helmet on a bicycle up until you're 14, correct? Yes. Okay? These kids are 11, 12 years old. They're not wearing helmets. So at that point in time, they need to get a ticket from it, and it needs to go to their parents, and then maybe it gets in their wallet enough, they'll quit doing it. And it's a safety thing. I'll be 76 years old. My reactions aren't that good, okay? I look down the street, oh, there's a bicycle coming. It's a bicycle. He's only doing 10, 12 mile an hour. No, he's not. He's coming down the sidewalk at 30, and I start to pull out, How many have already been hit? Guys on electric bicycles been hit. I know 4 on Riverside. The last year.
I don't know about Riverside.
Well, I know, because
Okay,
that's all
keep-
Galley.
Please address us.
So, anyway, that's all I have to say. I love
Okay.
you all. I love living here. Hope I get a couple more years. Good Lord's got my number sometime.
You got at least 10, 15 left.
Thank you. All right, next is Noneen. Come up and state your name and address. And I'm not going to attempt to pronounce your last name. so
Oh,
I'll let you do
okay.
that.
Ziemba.
Like I said.
Noneen Ziemba, 1113 Stephen Patrick Avenue, Indian Harbor Beach. Thank you for putting this on the marquee so people could see that you're having a workshop. I'm glad some people have come out. One thing I want to say is we're Indian Harbor Beach, and I know Satellite Beach is our brother, sister town, right? But we don't have to be like Satellite Beach. And I think that hearing from people, the way they want to do things and what they want to do is more important and to get it right rather than try to do something, say, we've got to get this out, immediately. We've got to do this right away. I don't really think this is a pressing issue that we have to do that with. That being said, this has been done in other places that maybe we should look that have already had it for a few years. I know that in California, there's a video of someone going before the city council talking about the situation that they have having these LSVs in the neighborhood. And what's happened is there has been so many LSVs on the road that This man, who's a surgeon, has missed appointments, surgical appointments, because he was unable to get out of the neighborhood because there's so many low-speed vehicles. I think that, you're talking about revenue and all these carts, and wow, and it will be. It'll be cheaper to get those than to buy a car, and definitely an e-bike is cheaper. But you get all these low-speed vehicles on the road, especially with, 16 plus, being able to get them and basically go anywhere because, like you can go over grass, you can go on the sidewalks even though if you're not supposed to, but they can go anywhere a car can't. So what we're looking at is at the possibility of this choking and limiting drivers who are in cars and need to get further away than just their neighborhood. And maybe we need to take a look at lessons learned from cities that have already done this and have had it in place. So I think that's probably something that needs to be considered. Let's go out of our scope of just, our county for this. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next is Ryan Thomas.
How's it going? Ryan Thomas, 234 Tim Pucci, I think right around the corner from you there. Had a couple questions. Hopefully y'all can answer it. If not, maybe Chief or one of the other police officers. Y'all have already said a couple times 16 is the magical age. Don't want to see anybody under 16 in a low-speed vehicle. What about those that are 15 with a learner's permit? Is that something that is allowable currently, or is that something that we're looking at?
So I have that, I was going to address all these questions at the end because I don't want to take up your time, but I think the state ordinance says that you can have a learner's permit at 15 or a learner's permit or 16 and have a full license. But obviously, I think those are some of the details that we would work out when we're developing our ordinance, which 15 makes sense to me personally.
Yeah, nuances. Okay.
Yes, sir.
May I interrupt? According to the state statute we're
Sure.
going by, all right, so it says that any person operating a low-speed vehicle must have in his or her possession a valid driver's license.
Full driver's license.
Not a
that's what it
learner's
says,
permit.
yeah.
That's what I read.
So
Golf carts are different. There's some little things different in golf carts, but for an LSV, valid driver's license.
So golf carts can have a,
I gotta look.
I know we'll get into
I
the
gotta look at the
details
statute.
later,
I don't
but
recall.
yeah,
I didn't
okay.
study golf carts too.
Sorry, I
well
didn't want to
today.
take your
No,
time.
you're
but-
perfect. So if we are creating an ordinance, a city-specific ordinance, is it possible that we add that to the agenda to add verbiage that allows for a 15-year-old with a learner's permit to do that? Because it doesn't make much sense that my 15-year-old can drive my Jeep Wrangler going 95 miles down the road, get smacked in the back of the head for it, but it'll happen.
But you have to have an adult with you when you're doing
Well,
it.
yeah, clearly he has to have an adult. He currently has to have an adult with him anyway. I didn't say alone. I said
Right.
with me.
But it kind of opens up that can of worms when it comes to that. If you do there, whether they got
Well, it's, I
I'm
mean,
not going to negate you.
Yeah, I think.
that's something we can,
Yeah,
we gotta take a
that's
deeper
all,
dive into
for
all
sure.
this. There's a
Yeah.
lot
As far
we
as
have
I'm
to work
concerned,
out
that's
on
more
this.
learning experience for him to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Instead of just taking them on learning other places. Next thing was a legal way to get to Publix. Right now, the only way to get to a Publix on a low-speed vehicle is to go to the one in Satellite Beach. If we create an ordinance, are we also going to create a way to get to the closer Publix near us?
No way to do it.
There's no way?
DOT roadway and the sidewalks that are there they don't meet their own criteria for low-speed vehicle travel or golf cart travel. And it's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, so you can't be out on South Patrick to do it.
Right.
There's
I didn't know if
there's
there was
no
a
way we can do it,
I
though.
didn't know if there was a way around, like Bob's Bicycles coming up, making a wider sidewalk over there or something.
I mean, yeah,
So
that would be
so-
that'd be a whole DOT project they would have to do, and create sidewalks of a sufficient width to even allow it. But even there, you can't be on O'Galley Boulevard with a golf
Yeah.
cart or with a low-speed vehicle either.
Okay,
Because of the
so-
speed limit. Really, our hands are tied with some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're mostly focused on what we can potentially do for the roadways within Indian Harbor Beach that are under our jurisdiction. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So staying with Publix then. All right. And then the last part is that every low-speed vehicle I see on the roads here or elsewhere, it makes me almost feel like we're living close to the villages. And I don't want us to be in the villages yet. I'm not young. I'm not old enough yet for that. So when we do our ordinance, are we going to allow for those other variants of low-speed vehicles that kind of border on low-speed vehicle, UTV, kind of like the Mokes or the road buggies? I was down in the Keys last week, and they have these road buggies you can take anywhere. So I didn't know if that was going to be something we were going to be
Again,
addressing.
deeper dive into the details, I think.
Yeah.
On that.
It's just one of those
Getting
things that I want to make
specific.
sure gets
No, it's
addressed
worth-
and put into it, yeah.
Considering, of course.
Yeah. So that's it. I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that looks like that's it for the public comments. Don't have any more cards. All right. So bringing it back to council, and I'll just kind of recap my thoughts on it. I think that there's a lot of folks that want to see something happen with this that makes it easier. Obviously, the process to get a low-speed vehicle tagged, registered and tagged is insane at this point. It's not practical, it's not reasonable, not even close to being reasonable. With that being said, there's the legal side of things, statutory side of things, and it sounds to me like we do need to have that state attorney general's opinion. I know you can write to them and present information to them and request an opinion on implementing, whether we can implement our own LSV regulations, and then if we can we implement our own registration process within our city? I think we need that opinion to cover us, and I think it's an important step that we need to take. So I guess what I'm saying there is I think that a good direction is concurrently with that effort that we start looking into and start rough drafting a potential ordinance. Obviously, we can only take it so far at this point until we get that opinion. There's no point in going too deep into it, but I think we can start roughing things up. I think it's a good idea to look at other municipalities within the state to see what they've done. I mean, to their point, they're absolutely right. There's other areas that are grappling with this now, and surely there must be plenty of ordinances out there on the books, on their books. Something worth checking into to see what we can learn from that. Attorneys out there in those municipalities that, who knows, maybe there's already been an opinion issued on this. Possibility.
I haven't found it. I mean, it's searchable. I haven't found it, but
Wishful thinking.
let me expand on that if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor. So, do we, whatever we do, and I understand the reciprocity issue with satellite. Whatever we do, if we're going to go down that path and be reciprocal with Satellite Beach, our ordinances should be very consistent with each other. That's. I just want to make sure that you clarify and point us in that direction, because we can come up with something that could be totally, abhorrent to Satellite Beach, and then we're not accomplishing what we want to accomplish.
In that vein, I want to make sure that, if we need to go that direction and be really tight with our ordinance, we have to figure out, are we comfortable with having the exception for the windshield wiper? An item.
Yes,
that
I
they've
understand.
excluded. So we need to make sure that we either do it or we don't do it. And, then you have an inconsistency, to your point, potentially, if we require it and they don't. Or they have to amend their ordinance to include it. We get into this game. But most importantly, I want to make sure that, you have reviewed their ordinance in detail to make sure that we as a city are comfortable with it, with the language. there's, I agree with you. I think it needs to be consistent, but that doesn't mean we need to just automatically adopt their language. I think if theirs needs to be, if theirs needs to be tweaked, then I think we need to we need to give them that opinion and say, look, we think you need to change this language or that language. But with the overall goal of getting things lined up.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
But it's a valid point. Yeah, they need to be kind of, not mirror, because back to, I believe, Ms. Zimba's point, we want to be Indian Harbor. We don't want to be Satellite or do something because somebody else is doing it. But this is what we're doing for our residents. So we're going to make sure that, I agree with the mayor, make sure we do our due diligence and, properly vet it. But I imagine with just assuming with the number that it's already out there, I'm sure that, the state would be on board with it, so.
So that's my 2 cents. I don't know if anybody else have any additional thoughts. We'll start with Susan over here and we'll work our way down.
Okay, I mean, I think it's obvious from what people are saying here, on behalf of the residents, something has to be done to make the process easier. Of course, what you said, it's got to jive legally and all that, but I think they're everywhere. There are low-speed vehicles everywhere. We need to figure out how to make it legal and register them. So definitely support going forward and seeing what we can come up with.
Frank, you're up next.
Fantastic. I've listened to a lot of conversation here. I don't care whether it's low-speed vehicles or golf carts or whatever you want, as long as they're legal, okay? And they're not on sidewalks, okay? They're in the street, they're not on sidewalks. And I'll support anything insurance, everything connected. We don't have major lawsuits going on, which we will have if you don't make it 100% legal. So whatever it is, it's 100% legal.
David?
I got a question about, educate me on this as far as when these places that actually sell the golf carts or these low-speed vehicles, do they do turnkey where it's actually registered like an auto dealer does? If they do,
I don't have a business, but I don't know if you can buy them from the manufacturer as a state-approved low-speed vehicle. I'm not sure.
Well, you can pay an additional amount for the store to go and do it for you. It's usually about $1,000.
I do know that there are some businesses that will trailer that, but that's what I did, and it was 5 years ago, and it was $1,100 back then, and that was to Titusville. So
I know that we have a company that's off of Tomahawk, there used to be, or somewhere. Please speak, yes. Please come up to the podium, please.
State your name and address again.
Kyle Mallett, 368 Ocean Spray. I'm the co-owner of Stinger Golf Carts on South Patrick. The place on Tomahawk that used to be there is not there anymore. They're gone. But as far as I know. But so there are manufacturers that will make a low-speed vehicle golf cart that's a low-speed vehicle from the factory, but they don't automatically register it when you buy it. It's like Adam said. It's basically you pay a service. Typically, I would say on average, it's minimum $1,000 for them to fill out everything I was talking about earlier when I stepped up, that whole process. They do it for you. So you pay $1,000 for them to do that process and get it registered on your behalf. So
This is where I have a concern, I have an issue with, is that we have auto dealers out here that do it in a heartbeat, have no issues doing it, and yet this low-speed vehicle is not much far cry of buying a regular vehicle,
Right.
cost-wise even. Why can't that be an option that the state?
but it isn't option. It's just not, they're not required to do it.
Yeah,
It's just an option,
It might be something that
Comes down the
you've gotta
road.
contact your state legislature.
Yeah, and frankly, from my perspective, usually those vehicles that are already made to be an LSV are going to be significantly more expensive because they're going to be newer, vehicles,
Yes.
right? Versus somebody who's had a golf cart forever who just wants to be able to make it legal. That's a lot less expensive because that sunk cost has been gone for 5 years, 10 years, whenever they bought the
Understood.
cart, right? So basically what you have to do is you have to take a golf cart, which the traditional definition of a golf cart is going to be one, it comes off the golf course. There's no lights, turn signals, maybe there's a horn, right? There's usually not a windshield, or if it is, it's only a half, it's not a folding one. There's a lot of, there's no seatbelts, probably doesn't have mirrors. So there's a lot of things that are required under the LSV statute from the state, which Satellite Beach's ordinance mirrors to everyone who spoke before, with the exception of the windshield wiper. And I think the logic behind that is, well, who's going to be driving around in a golf cart in a torrential downpour, right? Unless they get caught. And what's a little manual windshield wiper going to do for you? I mean, there's only so much, it's only so fast you can move your arm.
I can tell you nothing.
So I think that's probably the reason why they don't require the windshield wiper in Satellite Beach is because they just don't see the benefit to it.
I just don't see the difference of being a far cry from having one or the other. I just really wanted to grasp that if I could.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so it's mostly newer vehicles that already have like an AS4 rated windshield, DOT approved tires, and all of the other safety equipment that's required versus being able to go and put it onto an existing golf cart and convert it to an LSV. That's the big difference.
And I'm in agreement with you. I do not want to see any of our citizens have to go through that painstaking process of anything, and going to DeLand for that matter, and
Right.
having to mail all these documents. It shouldn't be harder than registering your own personal vehicle.
Right, you would
It
think.
just shouldn't be.
And there's no guarantee that when the Titusville if the Titusville office opens back up, that you won't have to trailer it up there and go back to that original process.
Correct.
This process that I described when I was up here speaking during my 3 minutes is a fix. It's a as far as I know, it's a temporary fix because Titusville is out of commission.
Understood.
And so DeLand is I guess the next closest place that's approved for this.
I
right?
appreciate your time. I really do. Thank you.
And I
Thank
want to
you.
add too that also it doesn't have the airbags or
Airbags,
anti-lock brakes.
ABS,
So
doors.
like I said earlier,
Yeah.
my insurance was more on my low-speed vehicle than it was my minivan. So that's also why I want to get this program set up
What kind of
in
vehicle do you
city.
drive?
What's that?
What kind of vehicle do you drive?
I drive a 2014 Tundra, but my wife drives a Town and Country minivan. So we're in minivan land. We have 4 children. So.
That's all I have, Mayor. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's all right.
Mayor, I did have a couple more, does
Sure.
anybody else have? I just had a couple more things I want to identify, which I think it'd be prudent for us to address. That there is clear language in the state's statutes where it says 4 wheels for a low-speed vehicle. So, I agree with Mr. Horschel. I think he might have.
He just
stepped out,
left.
but I agree with that the e-bikes is an issue, but I think that's a separate issue,
That's a
and I think
separate
it's
day.
very smart to have them completely separate from this ordinance. Four wheels, yeah, no one, all the other things we already addressed, no one's going to DeLand, so, that's about it, that's about all I had to say, so.
Okay. All right, so are we in general agreement to try to run the two processes parallel to one another, concurrently with one another?
Yes, sir.
In terms of starting to draft some language and doing appropriate research as needed, looking at Carl taking another look. I know he's looked at it enough times probably, but the Satellite Beach ordinance and looking for consistencies, looking for things that he thinks that might need to be tweaked on their end. And then do that concurrently with the whole state AG interpretation or opinion. Is that everybody?
So the
with
direction
that?
to move
Yes, sir.
forward with the program pending the
Right.
approval from the state, that's,
that-
yep,
We're going to do them
concurrently,
Right,
yes,
so
yes.
again,
I-
don't waste time.
Yeah, I mean, because that AG opinion could be a year.
They're pretty good about that, but, I can't tell you it's going to take 30 days either. So
Right.
it's anywhere in
I just
between.
wouldn't want to hold everything up just for
I-
that.
I agree.
So I
Let's-
think we can get started
They,
on.
they could
the
even
ordinance side.
chime in and say they don't want to opine on it either.
That's true. Right, right. Okay. So that is the consensus. We're clear on that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion-
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nutt, second by Deputy Mayor Gerton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.